Well, good evening, folks. Papa D here again, coming to you for our weekly broadcast from central my location here in Central Florida. Bring Angela in here just a minute from a little bit north of here. But this is our weekly talk session about the goings on. It is a busy week. We, of course, have the Democratic National Convention wrapping up this evening. Angela's talk about that. I know she has been deep diving the events daily, but we certainly have a lot to speak about tonight, and updates with polls, updates with the continuing saga of the missing presidential candidate. Whole lot of good stuff. So we just want to say, for starters, thank you for coming out. Thank you to our subscribers. Thank you to our new subscribers. Please, if you're not a subscriber, come on in, join the family. Hit the like button, hit the notify button, hit all the buttons, hit the buttons, hit the buttons. Do all that YouTube stuff. We would love to have you come join us on a weekly basis. And we also thank, ahead of time, Madness Productions. You heard that awesome music, and that is our bumper music. And Madness Productions, Matt over there, Madness, has been kind enough to let us use that. Same music we try to use often on our other location, our other channel. So with no further ado, I know what y'all been waiting for. You don't come in here to listen to me talk. So see if we can bring in somebody that knows deep dive what's going on out there. Well, look who's here.
Hey.
Good evening. What's going on up there?
How's it going?
In your neck of the woods?
Oh, there's a delay tonight, so just prepare yourselves. I'm doing good. I just got done going through an hour and a half algebra homework session with my 8th grader. So it's been a good time. I'm having a great time. Let's talk politics.
You're ready to switch gears to something a lot less complicated, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, very much.
Well, as I said earlier, by the way, this is my lovely daughter, my eldest, Angela, and she is my co-host, and she is up there in the 3-star state, at least for now. And we are we propose ourselves to you, or put ourselves out as self-proposed political nerds. And we love to follow the goings on and bring it all to you. We try to bring it in a language that is simple to understand and not media mushed. And that is a word that I will copyright. Too much of that out there, and we can get into that. But I guess where we want to start off this week, Angie, is a little recap. This is final night, night 4. Queen Kamala will make her acceptance speech, but looks like leading up to it, it's more of a entertainment concert venue out there up in Chicago tonight. They've got the Chicks, formerly the Dixie Chicks, and if you want to see what happened to them when they went woke a number of years ago, now they're known as the Chicks. They'll be performing. Looks like Pink is going to be performing.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. And then we've got a special guest yet to be determined. They're not disclosing. They're saying either Taylor Swift or Beyonce. So at some point, they'll get done with all the entertainment and the music and all the trying to get the audience pumped up a little bit. And then they'll bring out the candidate who will read off the teleprompter and officially accept her nomination obtained by coup.
That's my dog. Sorry.
He wants to get a word in too. When you say the
mad.
Kamala word, he gets upset. Lucky mine's not in here, but yeah, she'll be accepting the nomination obtained by coup. And anyway, we can't get down that rabbit hole this early in the broadcast.
Right. But, there's so much to cover.
There's so much to unpack here. But I want to give you the lead in on this, Ange. You have been following very closely. I've been in and out, catching what I can, and you've had the duty to be the
Yeah, well,
observer and deep diver. I've got my
I
notes here, so I'll let you take off with it right now and run it.
okay.
But what do we got so far this week, and what do we got coming up?
All right. So I just want to let you guys know it was extremely difficult for me and my beliefs and who I'm going to vote for. But I feel like watching every side is important because you have to know what everybody's talking about and what they believe in, and before you can make a real, true, and good decision for yourself, right? So, as
That
intolerable
is
as it
right.
was, you stick it out. So, the overall theme so far that I'm taking away from the last 3 nights. I have not watched anything leading up into night 4. I need a mental break personally. Um, but night 1, really the whole day, there was a lot of reporters out there. There was a lot of people talking to people in the area, trying to get a feel for, how do they feel about the DNC in Chicago? Who are they going to vote for? What's most important to them during this election? Okay, so that was kind of like the lead up into night 1. Um, at the beginning, and I will say the entire night of night 1 was basically a living memorial of Biden, where he spoke at his own funeral, essentially. Um,
Well, and also
it was
he was pushed so far outside of prime time.
Yes.
That's
It's no wonder
that was
anybody
the
saw
key.
him.
That yeah, nobody got a chance to, or the respect he should have gotten. But I think they were trying to push it out in the event he went off script and renegade.
Rogue.
Good, yeah, rogue. Had he gone rogue, it
Mhm.
would have been less people seeing it and easier to clear it out and edit it out. But that's just my thought. But again, we
Right.
are clear are, who we've made our overall decision. That is not for all of you to take just that side of the story. We take both sides. But
Right.
irrespective of your feelings about Sleepy Joe, he deserved more respect than that, and he didn't get it.
Exactly.
He was pushed
No.
out and was never given the opportunity to even have a true true words about what happened or allowed to gracefully exit. So that's my interjection. Sorry about that.
Right. No, you're good. So I mainly focused on the prime time portion of each night because let's face facts, there are a lot of people that get up there and talk. And if you have been watching along every day, great. I think that's wonderful because you want to hear what everybody has to say if you are still an undecided voter. Um, but mainly for me, I focused on the prime time. So everything that I'm going to bring up is mainly prime time speakers. So the first thing that kind of really took the night away for me, and granted, the theme of the night was for the people. That was the theme. The UAW president gets up there and makes a scathing speech, very angry, just he's angry. Um, and he took off his jacket and revealed that he was wearing a Trump is a scab t-shirt.
Oh, very nice. Very
So
nice.
that's what he decided to represent the UAW as. So take with that what you will. If you are a member, you might have to really dig deep on, some situational facts about these people, and that's for your own time. Um, the next person who got up, and I was really curious about this one, mostly in part because this person has ran for the presidency before. She has faced Donald Trump in debates. She has taken the jabs. She's had a firsthand account of running as a candidate against Trump. She's the only other person
She's
other
been the
than
punching
Biden.
bag.
Right, and she's a woman. So Hillary Clinton got up there. She's one
Oh.
of the elite Democrats. They're going to bring up every single time there's a major Democratic anything happening. She prompted the crowd by, chanting "Lock him up." Um,
It wasn't funny
and
when it was on the other. She was on the other foot,
she
was it?
Right. It's all fun and games. We're the bigger people, and we are our whole entire campaign now is we're running on joy. We're running on unification, and we are for you. We are you, and we are for you. That's what they're running on. But this is, it. They gotta rile up the crowd, and it's just
Well, they
it
were
is what it is.
chanting, "Do something, do something, do something." That was the big
Mm-hmm.
crowd chant that I heard when I tuned in at one point, which makes you laugh because they've had 3.5 years to do something, do something,
And they've
do
not done
something,
anything.
and they can. That was their chant for that segment. And then we switch into Lock 'em Up, which again it wasn't so funny when she was on the receiving end of that, which she's still on somewhat the receiving end of that, in my humble opinion. But the
Right.
humor, the irony.
Oh yeah, it's all good if she says it, but now like if like you said, if the shoe was on the other foot and she was in a different situation, then it wouldn't be so funny.
No, no,
But it's okay because it's not at her expense.
exactly. This politics we're talking about.
Oh yeah. Um, let's see. And then, she had her little, oh, I'm for women, which I mean, I am a woman. I'm for women too. I mean, but she felt as though since she had been in that position before, that it gave her the ability to rope in, the insane feminist movement, which is fine. It's I for her, I feel like her speech was pretty tame in comparison to some of the others that we're going to get to in nights 2 and 3.
Right,
She
right.
played it safe,
She
in my
left it open
opinion,
for the others that were going to dig in deep and pull the claws out. And we
real
know who
deep.
those speakers,
Oh yeah,
1, 2, 3, 4 of them were.
right. Jill and Ashley, his daughter, made speeches, and I honestly was kind of shocked about Jill. I thought she was going to dive a little more into the Trump hate speech, but she really didn't, in a sense. And Ashley's whole speech was to try to humanize her dad, but in her own words. There have been some very questionable situations that she's been in with her dad, which I'll let you guys do that digging on your own time.
We'll leave that alone.
So that was a little, yeah, that was a little curious for me. But in the light of, the moment, you got to make it what it is. And what they're portraying is he essentially is the presidential goat. Not that he's sacrificial, that's the lambs. I'm talking about the greatest of all time. Okay, guys? They got up there, like, he sent us to the moon. He, like, did all the, I mean, it was like he had done so many amazing, wonderful, courageous things for America, and how lucky we are to be bettered by Joe. Granted,
Oh, he
this is
invented
still
the
the sitting
internet.
president.
He sent us to the moon, like you said. He actually walked on the moon, I believe.
Oh my, right.
My
Who
goodness.
knew? But the
all these
Democrats,
3.5 years,
that's fine.
I guess I missed it. You and I missed all of that. I've been watching fairly
I
closely.
was
didn't
sleeping.
see any of this.
Blew my mind. Blew my mind.
Yeah.
We're rewriting the history books, folks.
Mind blowing. You hit the nail on the head. That's what they're doing. Rewriting history right before our eyes. And half the population are too silly Again, I'm using my words carefully because we have people on both sides of the aisle that we talk to.
Right. But if you are watching us in any capacity, whether it's for 5 minutes or you've been with us since the beginning, regardless, first of all, thank you for that. But if you are watching this, it means that you have multiple brain cells
Still firing.
and they're working to right, they're working together to figure out, okay, I'm going to make my choice. Not I'm looking for them to tell me what I feel. I'm going to dig deep and see how I feel and make my choice based off of what I feel like is best for me. So kudos to you guys and all the Americans out there who really are doing their educational homework on this political process this election season, because it is every day that something is happening or being said or being revealed, or I mean it is a it's wild. It is very wild. I don't think I've experienced anything like this before.
No, this is crazy, and we'll get to a couple of other key things in the news after we finish up the overall recap. But I
Right.
mean, any one of these individual items that have happened in the last 24 to 48 hours is a major news story, and these are coming like rapid fire. And I don't mean that in jest. I say that clearly.
That's it's exactly how it is. It's every few hours it feels like there's this breaking bombshell news story that no one saw coming. It's like when people joke about that wasn't on my bingo card, it really feels like that. Like I didn't see that on the bingo card this
Our,
week, you know.
our president was
It's
threatened again. Did you
yes.
hear that one? Just came just across the wires, but yeah. Anyway, it is so busy. Like Angie said, you've got to be at least paying somewhat of attention, and not just to the network of your political choice.
Right.
You're going to
Do
miss
like
the
a
boat
full circle.
if you do that, and that goes for both sides of the aisles, by the way.
Right. Oh, absolutely. I mean, I know who I'm going to be voting for, but that doesn't mean that I'm not looking at potential Senate seats or House of Representatives seats or governors that are,
Absolutely.
in their election right now as well, and they're campaigning. So it really is deeper than just the president, and especially, you want to get educated on who's in your own state and who's running, because they directly
Absolutely.
affect you and your
We had
property taxes and all of those things and your
it,
education for your kids. So,
we had yesterday
um,
our local
yeah.
elections here. It was election day in our county. Well, not just our county, but multiple counties here in Central
Hmm.
Florida. Local elections, school boards, sheriff, uh, mayor, multiple other ones, and you pay attention because if you're not voting and paying attention to the policy being made at the bottom, you're out of luck, out of the box, out of the starting box. So we had our election yesterday, and I'm proud to say that we have our stickers, and that's what you have to do. You have to just
Right.
read a little bit, pay attention, listen to people, talk to people. Don't argue with people. Don't let them argue with you. Your opinion is your opinion, but keep your eyes open, keep your ears open. What do I always say, Ange? You learn more by keeping your ears open than your mouth. Shut your mouth, open your ears.
Right.
And that's what this election
It's
is all about.
amazing when you're willing to accept the opinions of others and you're open to the potential of changing yours. That's called maturity. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I think even if a few people, it's contagious. It absolutely is contagious. And I think that's what's happening around the country right now is people are seeing things with their eyes and they're opening their ears to the opinions and the facts of others, and they're making those decisions for themselves, for the future and for their family. And it's absolutely refreshing to see, because I feel like a lot of people had the wool pulled over their eyes for the last 3.5 years by not paying attention. And I
Right.
think if a lot of people would have paid attention a lot sooner, then we would be in a whole different situation now than
Well, paid
we were.
attention a
And
lot
that's,
sooner.
but we're here now,
Yeah.
we're going to fix it.
Right. I mean, this gets back to we digress here a little bit, but one of the articles that came out today that I was tracking about the additional ballots were found in Ohio for unregistered voters. And I'm looking for it now, but
Mm.
I mean, these are the things we should have paid attention to, because it's hard to win an election. It's easy to steal one,
Right.
apparently. Um, Again, I'm not making any judgment calls on that, but yeah, ears open, mouth shut, and make a informed decision. And I think you're absolutely right there that more and more people have realized how important this election is, and this is, if not the most important, one of the most important in our lifetime. And this is a mistake you make one time. One vote, one mistake. So,
Exactly.
irrespective of who you follow, who you care about, who you follow, our position is easy. We will always try to enlighten you with what we believe is good for this country and what's best for the country based on what has happened. And again, we can go back and beat that horse over and over again, but what's happened in the last few years. But again, we digressed again.
Right.
So
I know there's so much. Everybody, like, it's really tough. It's a lot.
Absolutely. So we
Um,
ended up getting through the Hillary saga and the family saga,
right. So
or
right.
whatever you want to call it.
Night one. Hold on, Dad. Sorry, my Gavin's dropping off food for me. Thank you, honey. All right. The end of the night kind of wrapped up with, well, I will say the end of the night, it ended the next day. On the East Coast, It was well after midnight by the time this whole shindig wrapped up. Okay. So, and I myself slept in the next morning. Thank God I could. A lot of people on the East Coast who are working very early in the morning didn't have that option if they were going to pay attention to the end of the night, which is unfortunate. But Joe got up on stage. He came out and he was crying, visibly emotional, as, a lot of people would expect. This is not the convention that he envisioned at the start of this process. He knew that the end was coming. Okay. Like, he's not going to be president for the rest of his days. And, after this, if he did run this campaign the whole way through and he won, he would only get 4 more years. And then by that time, he's done with his career. He rides off into the sunset, and that got chopped. So it's an emotional thing for him to come out, I can imagine. Right. Because 2020, they had everything shut down and you couldn't go near anybody. And yeah.
Right. So he never had his convention. He never had his coming out. He never had his big speech as the nominee. And this is what I talk about when you say feel sorry for the guy. He got roasted and toasted. And
I do. I feel bad for him.
You got it.
And a pink slip in January. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, absolutely.
But he did calm down. He kind of collected himself and, stabilized himself on the podium. So, good. That's good news. Because I won't say what, I'll tell you, I'll text you about it. So he got out there and the whole speech was about 48 minutes. Which is about all of the speeches he's done in the last, 6 months combined. So kudos to him. And it was late, way past his 8:00 curfew that he gave to the press. So I'm proud of him. Good job, Joe. He got out there and it was like this timeline. Okay. And now I've seen other news reporters and commentators say it this way, but I literally thought the same thing as I was watching this. It's like a slow motion timeline of his entire career in this one speech. He went through everything from the beginning all the way till now. And in between all of those accomplishments, he had his jabs and his facts, which have since been fact-checked and disproven. He came out with his fiery "Trump is a loser," and everybody cheered. The two biggest fact-checked turnover statements that he made was the border crossings are down 50% and wages are up. We have the strongest economy in the world. Those were the two things that fact checkers and all of us who are living the middle class right now have seen with our own eyes. It is not that way, and you're doing it for cheers. And
Right.
he had to get
Even doc,
his
even Dr. Phil did a fact-checking special and went through it with the president. And
right.
95% of what they came out with was absolutely fictitious. And I wanted to say, Ange, I just had a thought. You know what happens when I have a thought? It's usually doesn't turn out well. You know this when you have a TV show and they're running out, it's gone on for years. There's a lot of episodes and they're running out of things to show on the TV show. And they do a retro, and all it is just a half hour, an hour of clips from the old shows.
Yes.
That's Joe's speech.
Yeah, that is exactly. It was like a slow motion train ride of, like, okay, and the only thing I can equate it to really in that I've experienced recently is like, for those of you maybe watching, hopefully you get to experience this once in your life, but when you go to Kennedy Space Center and you're taking the bus tour around and they have the screen on the inside of the bus and they're showing you all the clips of the speeches and all the things, that's literally what I just thought of. And it's funny, but I get where he's coming from, because this might be one of the last big speeches that he ever makes. So he's trying to get it all in now, right? Or is able to make before he's done being the president. And so he's like he's approaching this as if this is the last speech I ever make to the American people, I'm going to fit everything that I've done and everything that I hope for the future into one big long speech, and I'm going to just suffer through it, and I'm going to go straight to bed and go on vacation.
Yeah. I'm good. They're going to put me on Air Force One. I'm going to bed, and I'll wake up in Connecticut and see y'all later, because I'm back in the bunker because they're not going to let me out.
Right. Oh, no. Him and Jill left as soon as they got off the stage. They got on Air Force One, and they flew to California, and they're going to be in California for a whole week on like a relaxing, sabbatical, which, I mean, it's mind-boggling to me. But I mean, the guy's in his 80s, like, I get it. That was probably the most exhausting thing he's done in like a month.
Right. I mean, we can make a joke about that and say, yeah, it was past his bedtime and all that. A, it was. B, it wiped him out.
Right.
And C, they got to put him away for a while now, because now it's the Kamala show. And they don't want him stepping out, stumbling down, falling over,
which leads us into night 2.
Off script. What happens if he does decide, you know what, this really sucked, and I'm going to say something about it? He's about as lame duck as lame can be. So what do? Keep him under cover. You keep him under wraps. Say, we make jokes about keeping him in the bunker.
Ship him to California.
Ship him to California. Put him on vacation for a week. Tell the press you can't touch him. I mean, that's how you keep him from doing anything. In my opinion, he should
damaging
his day in the sun. But anyway, so we're.
He's getting it in California.
Oh yeah. He's still got time to be Joe, or
he does
something close to it.
And but, as a whole, before we get to night 2, as a whole, I feel like after what that man has been through with these people stabbing him in the back, and then to see Nancy Pelosi in the front row with her stick sign chanting "We love Joe," when we all know what the truth about how that all went down and what her role was in that whole coup. I think that man deserves a retreat. Like, he's probably got a lot of trauma just from the people that he thought he could trust the most had all turned on him. And so, I can't, if I was in that situation, I would probably want to be as far away from them too.
Yeah. Go get a cold one and sit on the beach.
But I digress. So
right.
night.
We're burning through
Right.
our
You
time.
deserve it. You deserve it. Right. Night 2. I'll do night 2 and night 3. Oh God. Okay. We're just going to run through it real quick. Night 2, I saw this report in the morning. I remember texting this to you, Dad. It came out in the media that Kamala and Tim were going to not attend night 2 of the convention. They had decided to go campaign in Milwaukee because the press had kind of displayed it as, she doesn't have a lot of time left and time is precious, and she felt this was important and all this. Probably some very big donors is what I can imagine. So I thought that was extremely odd, because for someone who is like, okay, I'm the better person to run for president, I'm younger, I have better ideas, and I'm going to unify the party and bring all of America peace and joy. We're all going to hold hands. We're going to sing Kumbaya in January. And it's just going to be this wonderful love fest that no one has ever seen before. To not show up on a night where we're done with Joe, he's not even here anymore. It's all about you. And guess what? You're not here. So I thought, that's weird. I don't know if anybody else was thinking that, but that was very odd to me, because I've never seen a convention in my lifetime that, other than like a potential medical emergency, I could not see of any other reason why you were about to receive the official nomination in 2 days. So that was a very odd start to the night for me, and it got weirder really quick. Schumer came out. Chuck Schumer came out dancing. This man has had a like, I don't know what is happening to him, but over the last
They've changed his
months,
medication or something.
he is right. Something has happened to him that I cannot explain. I don't know what juice they're serving. The Kool-Aid flavor is different in the White House this year. I don't know. But the fact is, he comes out dancing with this shit-eating grin on his face. Excuse my language, but it's what it is. Plenty of hate speech, and saying at one point, Trump is America's carnage. All of the bad things essentially that are happening in America are because of this man, even though he has not been in the White House for the last 3.5 years. But it gets better, you guys. Bernie, I don't know if there's any Bernie fans out there. Let's, please do your research is all I'm saying. Okay, Bernie Sanders.
Like their special costumes and their special things. This was added. There's Chuck Schumer coming out and dancing out. Look at him. He's having a good time. States like.
Yeah.
Thank you to Clown Politics for that.
I don't know if they, the medical situation and the medication might have been a factor, but we're all partying in the suites, and there might be some cocktails flying around. Either way, that man he had more energy in him than I have ever seen, ever. So it was just odd. But Bernie came out and Bernie comes out and he looks like a mad scientist, disheveled almost, if you want to call it that, gripping the podium like he was about to Hulk smash that thing. And he's just yelling, like the whole speech. He's yelling, and he's Trump, and just like he had a lot of pent up, like he had been wanting to have this moment for so long, and you could tell in the mannerisms of him. And he claimed, and this was fact checked. I mean, obviously this is common sense. I really don't even need a fact check on this, but he claimed that the Democratic Party of now is more accomplished than it's the most accomplished party since FDR.
Oh my, yes.
Yeah. Yep. We can't afford eggs at the grocery store, but you guys, we are so much better than whatever he did. And that was wild. But he does come out with those. And I will say this, Trump kind of has a similar style where he says a fact and then it's like he just kind of goes off the rails, but he reels himself back in and he goes back into the facts and he has a hard time of staying on course. That's kind of like how Bernie was, but like more hateful. Way more hateful. He does not like
out and dancing out. Look at him. He's having a good time.
Yeah. He just, he was so upset. And I felt bad. I wish somebody would have gone up there and been like, do you need a hug? Like, are you okay? Do you just need a hug? It's okay. It's okay to not be okay.
Or a different pill. Something.
Right. So do you need like a Xanax or something? Calm down. Take a chill pill. Have a seat. And relax. We've got this from here. So that, that kind of turned the course of the night because as Schumer didn't talk as much, he kind of kept it short and sweet. He had his jab. Bernie kind of kept it a little bit longer. The speeches went longer and longer as they went on. I noticed that.
Their timing is horrible. Their production is horrible.
Awful. There's no consistency. I don't know who's running that thing, but they do not need to be running conventions. The governor of Illinois, he is running for, I think, governor again, right? If I'm correct.
Correct.
Okay. So he gets up there and carried on the narrative that MAGA Republicans are weird and that Kamala was the woman who spent the last 4 years cleaning up Trump's mess. That was word for word. So
and when we say rewriting history, Ange, we mean it. This is what they're doing. I mean, you listen to them, and they believe their own crap.
Mm-hmm.
They've taken Joe and swept him off in the corner, and they're acting as if she's running for re-election, and the Kool-Aid drinkers are taking this hook, line, and sinker, and it comes down to what I said earlier, the remark about chanting "Do something," do something. Yet they say, or they forget, for 3.5 years they've done nothing. Now they're saying, well, if it wasn't for Kamala being in office, and maybe that's true, and now we know what we know.
We don't know, right?
Nobody's going to know until it's going to be like the Kennedy assassination. Take 50 years to find the truth out about this one.
And we will. History will always. That's the thing. You can only hide for so long. And eventually, whether it's now or 10 years from now or 100 years from now, the truth is going to come out. And you will not be this infamous figure in the history books that you perceive yourself to be. And that goes for everyone in politics, not just who's president.
That's what God invented the FOIA request for. FOIA will set you free.
There is a reason why. Right. I think after the governor of Illinois came out, you saw an entire spiral in night 2 where it went from, we're going to do this and maybe a couple jabs at Trump to we are on a full-blown attack of this man. We are not going to at all talk about policies. We are not going to at all mention what Kamala has done or not done. We are only going to discuss how absolutely terrible her opponent is, okay? And that's where the Obamas come into play. Okay. So Michelle comes out first. Still the same old Michelle. She really, now I didn't really write down a lot. I wrote down some quotes that she said, but it all is kind of the same. You've heard it once, you've heard it all, especially with the Obamas. We've all heard them. Right. So I didn't really focus on that. What I focused on with her and Barack was the overall theming of what they were talking about. And with Michelle, you saw this shift of, we're not going to be talking about the task at hand. We're going to go into those racial themes of, we meaning, is it a divisional thing? Is it all of us as Democrats? Or is it a race issue, saying that not everyone has generational wealth? There's not a golden escalator for us to go up. We don't get second, third, and fourth chances. We don't get all these, accolades. We have to fight for everything we earn. And I took that as a racial theme. A lot of other people did online. A lot of commentators did in the various broadcasts that were running simultaneously along with the convention. She had plenty of talk at the end, though, about unification and the policies that Kamala has laid out. She mentioned the economy, but did not go into detail at all about what the policy actually was, just mentioned it in a sentence and moved on quickly. But the main thing that led into Barack coming out was her saying to everyone in that room and everyone who was watching around the world, and most importantly in the United States as these voters, is that we have to fight to make sure and do whatever it takes, her words, whatever it takes to make sure that Kamala is the one in the White House come January, which led into Barack coming out. Okay. So they saved their big, big, big star for last. Now, I will say this. He did come out and he called Joe. Are you ready for this one? He called Joe his brother.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have been paying attention, but these two do not like each other. It has been proven time and time again in various things and, what's been said, that they do not care for each other. So the fact that he's playing this whole thing up like we were best bros in the White House and all, I'm so proud. I ain't buying it. I just as someone who's been looking at this from all sides for so long, I'm not buying it. He went into a tribute of his own, and then right into the attack on Trump and stayed on the attack for about 20 minutes. Did not let up. Fact
not
check
talking
errors.
about policy. No policy.
Right. Not talking about anything that Kamala's going to do to make the world better. He did mention abortion rights and reproductive freedoms for women. He did mention, being able to go buy those homes and, going out and doing fun things again. Like, here's what they're admitting without coming out and speaking the words that the United States as a whole right now is not doing okay. It's not been the greatest. And she's been in office for the last 3.5 years, but we are not going to count that. That doesn't count. What we're working at right now is that, right, she had no control over what was happening in the White House, but she could, be the toss-up vote in Congress. Okay, just let that simmer around for a minute. And then to put her on this imaginary pedestal of, she can do no wrong and she's helped so many people and all these things. She kept people locked up for longer than their sentences. She put people behind bars that shouldn't have been behind bars for whatever crime under the statute in the state of California. There's so many things that they're brushing under the rug. And if you don't do your homework on these candidates and these people that they're talking about, you're going to believe it, because how else, he's a main figure. He's been a president before. He might look like me. He might act like I do. He might have gone to the same college as my family. Whatever the situational thing is that you have similarities to these people, you have to put all of that aside, because actions speak volumes. And the words that are coming out of these people's mouths are not matching up with those actions that they have been taking. And so this is why it's so very important for everyone to at least watch, even if you don't watch the whole thing, watch the speech highlights. They have those
Right.
out there, and they will,
There's there's
just
plenty of updates you can watch without spending hours in front of the TV because honestly, I have to say,
right,
whether you're either side of the party, there's only so much you can stomach. Um, Not everybody finds it extremely interesting. So there's plenty of places you can get, and that's one
right.
of the things we try to do here. You know, like you said, we've been doing. We boil it down, kind of give you the opinion,
Mm-hmm.
but there's
Right.
plenty of websites. There's plenty of places. Go out to YouTube. There's plenty of political pundits. You can watch whichever side, but try to get a diverse sampling of
It's
what's out
so
there.
important.
You know, when you have people like, what was it, the ex-speechwriter, I believe? I'm trying to bring that up. Yeah, Obama's former speechwriter. Initially said Harris has one of the most liberal track records in history, and then had to backtrack. Well, you know, if you listen to
Mm-hmm.
one side of the media, you're never going to hear that. And those are true words coming from someone who was in the throngs of the Obama administration, making a comment about the current potential president. We hope not, but
Right.
you have to at least get the what we used to call back in the old days Cliff Notes. And there are plenty of opportunities to get those Cliff Notes, and you know, hopefully we provide a little bit of that
Right.
opportunity doing what we do here. Where are we right now? We're coming up on, let's see, the polls where we're at right now. And I just want to back up one step. We're going to have the
Okay.
recap on Kamala's speech once she takes the stage. Certainly it is canned. It is read off a teleprompter. It will be nothing earth-shattering other than probably just more regurgitation of what we've heard from all the speakers coming out previously. But we will do a recap of that for you all. So if you get a chance to see it tonight, I have a sneaking suspicion we're at about 2100 hours, about 9:18 Central Daylight Time. So we're still in prime time in the East.
Yeah, she probably has
She'll
a few hours until she comes out.
Yeah, I think they'll get her closer to prime time than they've given anybody else. Than they give Joe.
Well,
But we will be able
we'll
to
see. They
recap
put
that.
Obama at 11 o'clock too, so I don't know.
Yeah, their timeline. I don't know where the production is coming from and
It's
who's doing
terrible.
this. But just my opinion of that is it's just horrible. But anyway, they still have no policy. They still have no bullet points. They're still not digging deep. All they're doing is attacking. And I think would you say that's fair, Angie? General
Yeah.
overview of the first 3.5 nights or 3.5 days. It's just been an attack fest.
Right. I think last night was, it wasn't as memorable. We had Pelosi speak, we had Oprah speak, we had Bill Clinton get out there and do a speech. It wasn't as forcefully attacking as night 2. Walls came out and he kind of went into those policies, but not very deeply. I wouldn't expect him to, like, super deep, but it was a cry fest at the end. I don't, for somebody who wasn't even he wasn't even listed in the polling when they were looking at all the potential VP candidates. So I think for him, he didn't even see this coming potentially. And so it was, I can see why it would be emotional for him and his family too. Like that was a heart gushy moment. I'm a mom, I get it. You want to make your kids proud of you and your accomplishments. So I respect that. But that's probably the only thing I respect. But that's besides the point. But leading into today, like you said, Dad, the polls, which, as we stated in previous videos, the polls are going to fluctuate this week because it is their convention. It's to be expected, right? Well, I I don't think it's really going the way they thought it was going to go. In certain states,
the wrong way.
They fluctuated, but right, it's not in necessarily her favor. And even nationally, I saw today, I can't remember if it was Rasmussen or Real Clear, but Trump was up by 3 nationally this afternoon.
That was Rasmussen.
So during their convention, that's speaking volumes right there, because that's not typically how it would go.
Rasmussen, Fox, right now, Harris X, and CNBC all have Trump up. All the others, some of which we don't even know much about. One that makes me laugh is the ABC News Washington Post poll. It's been 4 points plus Harrison.
I think that's an internal break room poll that they take at the main office in New York.
And that's usually during cocktail hour. I really...
Right. It's so not credible. It's not a credible source. You guys do
this was
trust that one.
Absolutely. This was a big swing, and the RCP average right now is at Harris plus 1.5 as of today overall.
Yeah.
But that is not indicative of the polling when you look at the way we look at the polling, not just raw numbers and not really factoring in my opinion, undecided. And go ahead and mention now,
which could change soon.
The polls are swinging wildly backwards, the opposite direction when they shouldn't be, in favor of Trump. And tell them right now, Ange, what announcement potentially tomorrow is going to blow these damn polls out of the water. I'm going to try turning on the TV and see who's on the live screen right now.
Okay.
You got it.
So it was announced yesterday afternoon, and this was before prime time started on night 3. So we knew about this leading into night 3. It was announced that RFK Jr. is going to concede in his bid for the presidency, and he is going to potentially make a joint statement with Trump endorsing Trump for the campaign that he is running to be elected for the next president. That is huge because at one point, now not necessarily right now, I think he's running at an overall 4% right now, but he was at the height at 9%. I don't know if you guys, maybe some of you guys haven't followed politics for a long time, and I'm so glad you're here with us to learn as much as you can. That is a lot of people. And when you divide that up between some of these states, these swing states, in these counties where these people are undecided and they're watching all of this unfold, and this man who has gotten screwed over, for the lack of a better term, by the Democratic Party and told, you cannot be on the ballot, you cannot run, you will not be put on a national thing, you're not even going to be on the poll. Whatever they've said to him, he's upset, and he has every right to be. They're both going to be in Phoenix tomorrow. Trump is he's having a rally in Phoenix. And I am very curious. The rumor is that they're going to have a joint press conference. That's yet to be seen. But what everyone is really thinking right now is that he is going to tell his followers, Trump is the guy. If you want to get lied to, if you want to get brushed under the rug, then vote for the Democratic Party in his own, feelings.
Eloquent words.
That is a huge development. Huge. That
you
could win
even overstate
Trump.
That. And
right.
You
that
absolutely
could win him
hit
Pennsylvania.
It on the head. This man, a lifelong, and we know RFK, the family lineage, who his dad was, RFK Sr., assassinated. That's the whole thing. Lifelong Democrat. Now, we know within the families, there's also some disparity. There's always in a political family, there is disparity between who's following who. And his own family is split because, of course, some are following the party, some are following the man. But to say, like you said, Angela, he has been rolled over by the Democratic machine. And for them to not think for 1 second that this was going to happen is just another level of stupid. but
Right.
he also understands the gravity of the situation. And the man's got to do, and you have to do what's right for the country. And this is going to be a huge swing. I will be
I think,
out of
Dad,
pocket Friday.
In my small opinion, though, and before you go on, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but RFK conceding his run for presidency is more of a patriotic act of bravery than Biden handing over what he did to Harris. And absolutely, I am so glad to have him on our side. I mean, we all know who we're voting for, but to have someone who is saying, you know what, I might not believe in everything that you believe, but I know how I was treated, and I know that's not right. And you shouldn't treat people like that, especially
And
when
I
you're
know
trying
how,
to promote
and he knows
unity.
how Joe was not treated, or how Joe was treated, and
Right.
he's again, this man is a Democrat, and he's got Democratic policies. He's not far wing. He doesn't make left hand turns every time he sneezes, but he is a Democrat. But his ideals and his core values are there, and
Right.
you hit that 100%. I'm glad you said it. It's exactly what I was going to say. He gets more kudos for being a patriot than does the portrayal of what Biden did. Because Biden didn't do anything. Biden was pushed out. Biden stepped aside because the elite, the Democratic elite, the party elite, kicked him out. They were not going to support him anymore. The Kennedys.
Yeah. And I think,
this Kennedy is doing the right thing
words
for the nation.
of right, and in the words of, oh God, I'm having like a total brain fart when Kennedy made his speech about sending America to the moon, and he said, "We're not doing it because it's easy. We're doing it because it's hard." And sometimes when you believe in something so much and you want that for yourself, you're willing to step aside and saying, you know what? I'm not doing this because it's easy for me. I'm doing it because it's hard and it's the right thing to do. And that's what being an American is. You sacrifice for the country, and that man made a sacrifice for his career that I think is going to be widely honored, maybe not by the Democratic Party because they've written him off already, but the Republican Party is a party that is going to accept him with open arms, and everyone that follows him. And bring on the love. It's all about bringing this country back together, and truly, he's making that step forward. I'm so proud. I really am. That's hard.
And
that's
he
really
is
hard.
going to be a part of the administration. And I'm
absolutely in some respects
hear that, or to potentially hear that. Now, of course, the other party is making the argument already that it's all about getting a job. He's already got a job. They've already got money. This is indicative of the Trump era. Trump had a job. Trump had money. He was comfortable. He didn't have to do this. He didn't have to take the beating he's taking now, indicted 95 times or whatever, shot. Now we got another attempted assassin, somebody else they've come up with that was going to try something. He didn't need that, and Kennedy doesn't need to be anything other than Robert Kennedy Jr. Period. He's doing what's right for the country, and if he is part of the administration and assisting President Trump and his cabinet, or whatever that turns out to be, bring him on. We're proud to have him. And talk about sacrifice. They're talking about on the other side, the sacrifices that they've made and the sacrifices that Joe's made and all that. Joe has been in politics for over 50 years. Joe came in with nothing. Joe is a multimillionaire now. Joe is doing okay. Joe will be fine. Talk about the Kennedy family and the sacrifices they've made for this country. Seriously? Can't even argue that. So this man
it's not even on the same playing field.
Not even in the same not even the same ballpark. But they will portray it as such. They will vilify him. They will treat him like he has been and will be considered an outcast. And as far as I'm concerned, he's an outcast for the right reason. And as you said, Ange, we welcome
Right.
him with open arms. And we think if that is, again, we're getting a little presumptive here, but this is all indications of what's going to happen. And
Yeah, I think the writing's kind of been on the wall this whole week
it's been
about
on the
that,
wall.
though.
Yeah, but this is a game changer. And just to allude to the viewers, this is a huge
Right.
day.
Keep
Unfortunately,
your eye out.
I will be working, so I'm going to be catching it in between and afterwards, the formal announcement. But mark our word, we will have it here, and we might even want to do a special update because this is going to flip the polls on their backside. Again, we only take polls so far, but this is going to change the outlook massively, and the other side of the aisle has got to be a little nervous right now.
Well, I mean, it's anybody's game to win. And if it's all in business, you have to make smart decisions. And from what I'm seeing, there's been more signage making and not enough policy talk. So maybe they shouldn't make so many signs for all their spectators and have policy pamphlets when they screen them multiple times to make sure that they're not a terrorist trying to come in there. Or, I don't know, maybe instead of having a bus where you're giving people abortions and vasectomies outside, maybe have a stand with people who can talk to these potential voters about what Kamala believes in and try to get them registered to vote. I don't know. Just an idea. Or
just a thought,
maybe, I mean, it's indicative of the party as a whole when you have protesters.
Yeah, I mean, what blew my mind is I heard this earlier today. They actually had vending machines, little vending machines where the kids get the little plastic bubbles with little toys in them.
Mm-hmm.
Remember? Used to give you a nickel or a dime, and you pop in, you get yourself a little plastic ring or something. They had vending machines. They've got vending machines apparently like that at the DNC. And they're not vending machines. You just turn the handle and a little ball rolls out, and it's got a what do they call them? That one-day pill, abortion pill.
The Plan B pill?
Yeah. They have those little bubbles. And they've got machines. Just go get yourself one. And they've got a waiting list.
Oh dear God.
I mean, we say these things because it's just out there. But instead of talking policy, instead of having tables with your policy statements and updating your website, doing all the things to let people know what you stand for. Unfortunately, in their case, they haven't done what they've said they've done. Therefore, they have nothing to hang their hats on, so they can't attack themselves, which is what in a normal election, when you are not the incumbent, the true incumbent, this puts them in a position where they have no one to attack but themselves. So instead of having those policies and having those discussions and this is what we did, but this is what we really are going to do, or this is why we did do this. Yeah, we're putting people on fast track waiting lists for abortions, vasectomies, and giving out Plan B pills.
That's just disgusting. I'm sorry. I mean,
just a level of weird we're not accustomed to.
That's not my view at all.
Right. But again, we follow this thing as I want to
and that's not something you typically see outside convention.
Right. I mean, the convention is there by generally its definition to anoint the candidate who's been chosen by the voters during the primaries.
Yeah,
to
the delegates.
Solidify and initiate to write, if it hasn't been written, initiate and publicly announce policy. This is what we stand for. This is where we are going if and when we win. And what this has turned into is a ongoing rock concert. There's always bashing. Republicans bash the Democrats. Democrats bash the Republicans. But this is what it's been. It's one big bash session.
It's the way and what you say. Right.
Well, yeah, there's politicizing and there's attacking. But that's all they know how to do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all they've been doing. And that's just wrong. Well, again, whatever side of the aisle you're on, we stand to know more, what you're going to do with this country in the next 4 years. And because you've already been in that position, you cannot step back. I have a real problem with stepping away, being the vice president, stepping away, and saying, well, I wasn't really part of the administration when you were. That's your job as the vice president. You own the policy as the partner in crime, and I say that loosely.
Well, I mean, if the shoe
It is
fits,
what it
you know.
is. But, oh my goodness, looks like Soros is huddling with Waltz. Well, there you go. There's a big surprise there.
Oh, it's a love fest.
Yeah, why wouldn't George
guys.
Soros be having a love fest with that individual?
Oh,
Oh, I gotta
boy.
watch what I say. The man who puts tampons in young boys' high school restrooms.
Well, you know,
But anyway.
you gotta be, if you're gonna be anything in life, bring on the tampons, you know? That's what I always say.
If you're going to be a fool, be a fool. Be a fool all the time.
Right. Go big or go home, right?
Go big or go home.
all
And
out.
man, these guys are going big, and they're going home. Yeah, they're going to go home. And I think what's going to be funny, Ange, too, as we get close to the end here, Friday's usually a soft news day. Anything that the media is trying to bury, they'll bury it on a Friday. And it's really not picked up on. Tomorrow's announcement, news conference, rally, however they do this, again, we're getting back to the RFK Trump announcement, potential announcement,
right?
Is going to make it very difficult for the Main Street media to make this a soft news day and bury things, especially when their own polls. And once this goes right up to Morning and CBS and Pew and all of them, see their numbers. Again, our opinion. We'll see what happens. We're not pollsters,
right?
We just have a belief, and luckily in this country we still do have the ability to use our heads and speak our piece. First Amendment still applies, but it should be for a very interesting, harder news cycle as this takes place. Now, of course, it'll be spun. They're going to spin it as soft,
absolutely.
and they'll do probably
they've already started.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, they've already started that today with. I saw one headline for an article that said something to the effect of Trump and Vance lobbied RFK Jr. to relinquish his candidacy and join their team. So it's already started. They're going to send out the feelers and write up the headlines. They've probably already got something in the works that they would release online, some type of publication or an op-ed.
It's already been drafted. It's ready to go.
Oh, absolutely. They are on top of this. Yeah. And that's sad because, we are not in every conversation that's being had on these campaign trails, okay? And who are we to say what is and isn't factual in a conversation that happened between two parties that we know nothing, we don't know these people other than what we see of them on TV and, so on. I think he made a decision for himself. Trump has never been one to go out and look for anyone to make him look good or, bring more attention to the party. I mean, he has a lot of famous friends. That is fair. But they've come on their own accord. He has never reached out to them for billions of dollars in funds and all this stuff. So, let the man have his choice and just let it be. Just let it be.
Just let it be.
And let the polls show what they show.
Very important. Breaking news. Are you ready? Okay.
Breaking news.
Breaking news. Pink is singing currently at the DNC, and the name of the song is "What About Us." Now, what about us?
Oh,
My
yeah,
question,
that was one of her
what
hits.
about us? What about y'all? What do you stand for? Where are you going? What happened? Where you been? But Pink is either up there or I think she's up there right now. I can't bring it because we're not going to go get in trouble with media.
Oh man.
We don't do that. We are rule followers, not rule breakers. So, but anyway,
Well, if I had to make a guess, if I had to make a guess about tomorrow night, I'm going to say Beyonce is going to be there, Dad, because she's been using that Freedom song as her hype song when she comes out, and if I think that's just a theory, but we'll see. We'll see later tonight what happens. But
we'll see.
really
I mean,
curious
Taylor's
on
got
that
her
one.
mouth
It's going to be an
going too
interesting
about.
end to this whole DNC for sure.
Yeah, Taylor's been very boisterous and outspoken, and yeah, that's all we need to really say about that. But I could say a lot
I
more.
don't know.
But I like I don't plan on being sued. But we'll leave that alone. But those are the people that could perform.
Right. No suing today. No.
No, we don't. That's why we just report and we say, hey, here's what you want to go out and find more information about these characters, then you go out and do it. I was, and you are still. No, you're not in the great city, the once great city of Nashville, but I was for a number of years.
Something like that.
And we got people that portray themselves as being country artists, and they get kicked right back out. And I believe a couple of those people either were, I know for a fact were, and one tried to be with a song, and it didn't work out well. So certainly country music is, generally speaking, relatively conservative. We'll just say that generally as a not overall, not 100%, but they speak their piece and their songs speak the piece, and those people that kind of jump in end up jumping right back out. That really made no lot of sense, but y'all know where I was coming from. Country music is a community that 2 words: Lee Greenwood. End of discussion.
Right. Mic drop.
Yeah. Done. Hold on. I can't drop this mic.
There you go. Oh well, hey, it's
retired.
okay,
I can't
Dad.
afford another one.
No, don't break the mic.
I break the mic, I'm off the air. I'm done. Which would make some people happy, I think. But anyway, I digress. We're running up on the clock here right now, but I think we've hit all the high points. Really, the big issues here, guys, for this episode, and correct me if I'm wrong, you've been doing it for a few years. I'm ready for it. Conventions wrapping up. The same slop that we've been hearing and lack of concrete ideas and concrete discussion points for the future. Not there. I think the overall theme is, or the overall feel we are getting from the Democratic National Convention is completely disorganized, just a hate fest, no policy,
Right.
a entertainment, one big concert. Keep the people entertained with music because they're not being entertained with what they're really there for, to learn about their candidate and celebrate their candidate because there is policy and because there is a plan for the future. And then the wrap-up will be catch you later, see you later, and then RFK and Trump tomorrow for a potentially big announcement. And that's the week. And again, the timing couldn't be better. And then we'll get together and we'll talk more about the results. But Ange, we agree we've got we've got movement in the polls this week that shouldn't be there. Again,
it's looking very good for Trump in a lot of the swing states, and they did not anticipate that. And he also, I didn't mention this before, Dad, but I just want to say real quick, Trump is still leading nationally on the main topics for the voters, which are consistently the border, economy, and crime. He is still leading by multiple, a big margin on all 3 of those topics. So it is, and she has done nothing yet to sway voters to believe that she could effectively work on those issues better than Trump could. And I think that's having a lot to do with why the polls are sitting the way that they are right now. So with all of that, and like we said with the RFK Jr. thing, it's, you know, when we make another video in the next couple days, you know, stick with us, make sure you're paying attention, do some research. If you haven't seen a lot of these speeches, maybe go take a look for yourself and let us know in the comments, how did you feel watching this? Maybe if you're an undecided voter, how do you feel now watching those speeches versus before the convention? And just as a comparison of the two, I'm interested to see how the undecided voters are really feeling after this week and what this is all meaning for them. But we will definitely get some highlights from night 4. And then, like Dad said, we're going to talk about the polls, how they've been affected, and just anything else that's crept up in the news. So if you haven't already, hit like for this video, really all the videos, make sure you watch them leading up into now. And then if you haven't already and you're just watching for the first time, or maybe you're checking us out on the replay, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell, so anytime we make a video, we might not always be able to let you guys know in a lot of advance. Hit that so it just pops up on your computer, it pops up on your phone screen. Yep, Dad's pointing in all the directions. Just touch all the buttons. And let us know, you know, if you're new. Yeah, let us know what you're thinking and who you're voting for if you've already decided, maybe what you're thinking if you're undecided at this point still. And, you know, join us on this journey as we get closer and closer to November. It's going to be wild, but we're going to keep it all together. We're going to keep you guys informed every step of the way.
And we're not going to try to, you know, BS you guys. It's clear who our alignment is with right now.
Right.
For all the right reasons, and who our alignment isn't with for all the right reasons. We're here to give you what we think is relevant, and we're here to give you the relevant portions, things from both sides. As ridiculous and incredulous as they might be, we're telling you what's out there and what's being said and what's not being said. And we hope you make an informed decision. We hope you vote. One thing before we drop out to that.
Oh, yeah, protect the vote.
Protect the vote. Thank you. She saw me reaching for my other set of buttons. All right.
Sorry, I'm having to get my booklet of papers put away.
Hold on. I'm going to hand that over to you. There we go. Protect the vote. There we go. I think we're up. There we are. Guys, this is something that we are very, very passionate about. This is a website. You can find out that it is something put up by the GOP, whether you like that or not, but it is something we have to be concerned about. We are here to just go out and check this site out, protectthevote.com. The website is set up to protect election integrity. You go out, you can read, you can get information about the election. You can, like I said, put your name and your information in, then go, if you want, to your state, or any state they list. They will talk about, or you'll put your information in that'll register you as someone who wants to be committing to something, whether it be a volunteer, a poll watcher. You can get educated about the election laws in your state. You can bank your vote. Like it says, vote early. Democrats would say vote early, vote often. We just say vote your vote. You can, more importantly, or not more importantly, but an important part of this is reporting ballot irregularity issues. If you become aware of something, the old see it, say it type thing, we know we have to vote and vote big. Everyone's got to get out. And we not only have to vote, we have to vote in large numbers, because we have to worry about that we have the spread to take care of these irregularities. And whether you believe it or not, the ones that took place in the last election. Because, again, today was announced there was another bunch of ballots that were found in Ohio that for illegal, don't use that word, got to be careful with that word, but individuals that should not have been voting. So we have to make sure that the numbers are there and that the supporters for the party are there to take control and again, choosing my words carefully, more legal votes outshines and takes care of the not legal votes.
Yes,
And that's what we got to do. So
absolutely.
go out and check protectthevote.com. Again, we are not funded. We are not supported by. We are just here to just tell you that it's a great site. And it's in this election cycle, it is very important. We need to be cognizant of these voting irregularities and make it harder for people to cheat. And again, with the border being as open as it is, and with potentially 20 million, call them illegal, call them undocumented, call them what you want, but they're being flooded in to be able to vote illegally. And hopefully the states are going to do a better job in weeding that out. We see more and more of that every day, that they're finding some and they're weeding. I think I know Ohio found a bunch, and I believe, I can't think of the state, but one of the other states the last 48 hours weeded out a bunch. So they are checking the rolls and trying to be a little more careful in this cycle. But this website's a great site for information at the very least. So check it out, protectthevote.com. We love them. We hope you do too. And I'll thank them for everything they do. Because, again, we do it because we hawk them because we think they're of great value. And check them out.
Right.
So with that, I think what we got here is we've burnt through our hour and a half. Been a busy week. And
That was quick.
like Angie said, we want you to leave your comments. Talk to us. Tell us what you think. Tell us what you don't think. Tell us what you like. Tell us if you don't like it. If you don't like it, hey, it's a free country. That's what it's all about. We will try to do the best we can to make the content something that everybody can enjoy. And I think we do a fairly good job. And I think we're getting better every episode.
Yeah.
Think so?
Well, it's easy. It's easier to do when you have so much stuff to talk about and get through, and it's I feel compelled to do this because this is probably the most important election that we're going to face for a very long time, and I want everybody to be as educated as they can so that when you do go show up to vote in November, you know in your heart that you're making the right decision for yourself and you don't feel this worry and dread. You feel hopeful. You feel at peace with who you've chosen. And also, in the event that who you choose doesn't win, you're going to be really educated about who won, because we have been going weekly to give you the play-by-play. So either way, education is never a bad thing. Right.
Absolutely. We're going to run this right up until the election and past. This is not something that we've just decided to do for a few weeks or what do we got left? 75 days, I think. That's the count.
Yeah.
Look at that.
It's going to go by so fast.
It's going to go by fast, guys. You know, now we got Kamala not wanting to debate on Fox. Now we got all the debate issues coming up. There's going to be debates. Will be on ABC, possibly MSNBC or NBC. But wherever they are, pay attention to them. Pay attention to both sides. See what is coming out of both mouths. You'll see we are on the precipice of an abyss. This is a amazingly important election cycle. And with everything that's going on in the world, everything that's going on in this country, it matters. And be educated, because this election cycle is one that, you know, I'm not going to get into this, you know, I hope it's not our last and all that. There's a bunch of that crap out there on both sides you can listen to. But the economy and with immigration, as Angie said, the key issues have to be addressed. They have to be addressed in my humble opinion, a more conservative and controlled manner. And if not, I don't know if we got 4 years left in us. I really don't. So let's look hard. Let's look deep.
I want everybody to have a good time and be proud again to be an American. And
Absolutely.
I want everyone out there who is voting, whether it's been your first time this year or you've been voting your whole life, to feel like for your children, your grandchildren,
Oh, yeah.
yourself, that you made the right decision, and
Yeah.
how you feel does matter, and you're going to prove that in the polls.
Right.
So I'm
You,
I'm
you,
right there
you,
with
you,
you, Dad.
you
100%.
you're voting for yourself, and you're voting for your future and the future of your family. I'm voting. We're all voting. I'm voting for my grandkids, my great grandkids. Um, it's that important. Policy today,
Yeah,
it doesn't just end. It doesn't just end today. It doesn't end 4 years from now. Especially this policy, what I'm hearing, and how I've digested all this. So, let's look hard at it. Listen to what we say. Listen to what we report to you. Listen to what everybody else is saying. Make your decisions and vote. Without a vote,
absolutely. Get
you
out
don't
there
have a
and
you don't have
vote.
a voice. And as I used to tell my beloved mother, who's since passed a long time ago, when she would get into politics with me, I'd say, "Do you vote?" And she never did. I said, "Well, don't talk to me anymore." I'd shut her down. Love her to
Right?
death, but I shut her down. You can't talk to me about how bad things are and how disgusted you are if you're not going to take the time to watch a few news reports, look at some policy statements, and make a trip down to your local courthouse or your church or wherever your voting center is, and cast a ballot. If you can't do that, don't talk to me. And that goes hand in hand with protect the vote. Not only do we want to vote, we want to protect the vote we
Absolutely.
have. So let's do that. I'm finished preaching. We went over our time a little bit, but that's all right. My rules. My rules. So,
That's okay.
guys,
We had
you got it. We're going to say goodnight, and thanks again for checking in on us and putting up with us. Episode 9 is in the can. Episode 10 will be coming up. I think we're probably going to try to maybe rock that out sometime here in the next 48 hours, maybe 72 hours. Definitely past Friday's announcement. Leave your comments. Again, please subscribe, watch, like. Liking these videos immensely helps us, gets the word out. We're not monetized. It's not a money thing. It's getting the word out and getting people who want to come in and spend time with us. So do that. We'd appreciate it. With that, Angie? You there? I think I lost her. right.
Thanks for watching, you guys, and
there
on
we
the
are.
replay crew. Yeah, I'm here.
All right. Thanks again, guys.
Oh.
And
Can you hear me?
yeah, I think we got a real bad delay coming in here.
Okay.
The feed went down. We're
I'm
shutting
here.
her down anyway. But you guys have a great evening. Thanks again. We appreciate your time. Appreciate you coming out and spending a couple hours with us, hour and a half with us. Look forward to seeing you episode 10. Y'all have a great evening, and God bless America.